Hello friends, welcome to my channel, Blackwood Horror Stories. I hope you are well and happy wherever you are. Today I have brought three very scary stories for you. Well, the first story that has been sent to us is by Faja Islamabad. Now she had sent me her story through voice message. I wish I could play the story in her voice, but she did not give me permission. Now you must be thinking why I am saying that I should have played this story in her voice. Actually, when she sent me the story and I was listening to it, I too got goosebumps. This story is so scary, so anyway, I will try to narrate it exactly the way she shared the story with me. The second story has been sent to us by Zara from India, and the third story has been sent to us by Basit Manan. All the three stories are very amazing, so read Ayatul Kursi and Taya Hisar around you, because when you have heard the mention of these creatures, if it happens, then it comes close to you with great interest and starts listening to you so that you don't get scared. Read Ayatul Kursi, let's go to our story. Hello Iffy, how are you? Are you well? I hope you are fine, and your family is also fine. This incident is of 2014. Me and some of my roommates, we used to stay in Islamabad, hostel. We had a very good understanding with each other. One of us had a car, and we used to go for a walk in the northern areas on weekends. Sometimes we used to contribute among ourselves so that no one gets the blame. Food, hotel expenses, everything. We used to contribute among ourselves. At that time I was studying and time was passing very well. And then one day something happens to us that we remember till date. And that is what I am going to share with you. Once according to the plan, we used to go for a walk on the weekend. But what we used to do was that we used to travel on Saturday evenings so that we would go to the point we had decided at night and book a hotel there, and then stay in that hotel and spend the night there. And the next day we used to go out to roam around at that point. Then in the evening we used to leave for return and return to the hostel at night itself. So once it happens that we get 2 days off together, we make a long plan that we will go somewhere. Anyway, we made an estimate. We were students, and we knew how to manage the whole month with the money we used to get from home for expenses. And according to that, we used to plan our tours. We made our budget, how much would be the budget for the hotel, how much would the budget for fuel, and how much would be the budget for food and drinks. That is how we started our journey. It was nighttime, and it took us about 1 or 2 hours. And then after that, we started traveling in the mountains. Those who have been to the northern areas will have an idea of how adventurous it is to travel in those mountains at night, and it is fun. At the same time, if you look down at the ravines where it is very dark and faint lights are shining on the slopes of the mountains, you get a strange feeling that if we have to live here, how will we live? The local people live here. Anyway, we were enjoying the journey, and then it happened that we started walking on very adventurous paths. Those who have been to Hunza know about the paths there. We had crossed the Green Mountains, but we had to face the Sandy Mountains. Anyway, the car kept moving. One friend was driving, one was sitting in the front, and we 3 friends were sitting behind. Now the situation was that the road started getting dark, meaning we were not able to see any vehicle on the road. After a long time, we did not see any coaster, van, or car. If it was visible, it would have been otherwise. Our car was moving on that deserted road for many minutes. If you look behind the car, you can see only the light of the red light behind the car. Apart from that, there was complete darkness behind the peaks of those mountains in the moonlight. Adnan Bhai, I cannot describe what a scene it was. Anyway, this journey is also a part of enjoyment. Not only do you go there and enjoy the place, but your journey is also a very enjoyable journey. Till here, it was all about enjoying. Now, something was yet to happen that filled our lives with fear. We know that these things exist, but we had never thought that we would face these things. Now, it happens like this while moving. The car suddenly starts gaining speed because we had climbed a steep slope, and the car was still climbing a steep slope. That place was at a height, so the car started to push. And now a time came when we were pushing the car, but the car did not catch the pickup. My friend said, "You guys get down, and I will try to push the car up alone." It was a turn that was very scary. Anyway, all of our friends got down and started pushing the car. Some of the cars had their own power, and some of us were pushing, and we took the car up from that turn. Well, when we got out of the car, we looked down at that turn and saw, what should I say? It was such a scary turn that I imagined in my heart that if the car fell from here, I don't know where it will go. Anyway, We pushed the car and passed the turn, but the car was probably getting too much heat up and the car was not taking any force. We crossed one turn, but the car was moving as if there was no life in the car. We were feeling it while sitting inside the car. Somehow we made it up. Now I told my friend whose car it was that you should stop for a little while and check the car, check the water. But when we got out of the car, what can I tell you? The scene was so horrifying that you may not be able to understand it here. But really, when we got out of the car, there were mountains all around and far away. There was no light on, no man, no creature of humankind. We did not have the courage to check the car, although we were 5 friends together, but still we were very scared, and my friend said that sit in the car. Let's go a little ahead. There will be some settlement. There will be a mechanic there. We will show the car to him. But that was our mistake. Nothing like this had happened to us till now. It was just our fear and illusion. Only the whisper of that place was scaring us. We should have finished watering the car, cooled it a bit, and then left from there. Well, the age was also less so. The fear quickly took over, and then we started moving ahead. Then the car died. The car was not moving at all. Now the place where we could have stopped earlier and finished watering the car was still somewhat suitable. Now the place where we were was looking very full and very scary. But now the issue was that now we did not stop of our own will. Now we were helpless anyway. We were standing in the dark, kept giving self to the car. The car was not starting. Then when the bonnet of the car was opened, smoke was coming out of the car. Our same friend whose car it was said that I do not know why I feel that some big damage has happened. Anyway, we said, what should we do now? He said that now when the mechanic will not come and fix it unless there is no other option. Anyway, my heart started sinking. It was such a place that I started getting scared. Now the 5 of us sat down on the road because there was no population nearby and no vehicle was coming. We said that if any vehicle comes, we will ask for help from it so that we can somehow reach the population and then we will bring the mechanic from there. But a lot of time passed and no vehicle was coming. Neither any truck nor any bike. Anyway, we kept sitting and kept taking the name of God. Now imagine the silence. It was so silent that even if a slight sound is produced 2 kilometers away from you, you can hear it till here. Anyway, now we had come to a place where there were some trees around us. The road we were on had a slope on one side, and the other side was the ascent of the mountain. We started feeling as if someone is walking towards this road from the ascent of the mountain. Maybe you will not be able to imagine this thing, that fear, that panic. Eyes closed. Try to imagine yourself in that place, and we started hearing the sound of someone walking as if someone was coming down the mountain, but it was so dark that we could not see anyone. We turned on our mobiles like fools. Someone is shining light here, and someone is shining light there, but we could not see anything. Then one of our friends got angry and shouted loudly, "Who are you? If there is someone there, tell us." But as soon as he shouted, the sound of footsteps stopped. Now whoever was there had stopped there. Maybe he had heard our voice and hidden himself. That sound became silent for some time, and then started coming again after a while. Now it felt like that sound was coming very close to us. Remember, as I had told you, that place was so silent that even if any sound was produced several kilometers away, we could hear it clearly at this place. It was exactly like that. That sound was coming to us from very far. Someone was coming down the mountain, but now that sound, she was getting closer to us. And then it seemed as if a stone hit her foot and the stone started sliding down the slope. Now you know very well what kind of sound the stone makes. That means we had realized that someone is coming this way. My friend called out again, "Who is there?" And then we started hearing some kind of sound music, as if it was a human being, but it was strange. He was making a sound. That sound was very scary. We asked, "Who is there?" Maybe he was scared of us. Maybe my friend had come so loudly and made such a loud sound with anger. When he said, "Who are you? Come in front." Maybe whoever it was scared. But now we were very scared after hearing his voice. That voice was so strange that I cannot tell you. Then we turned the torches of our mobile towards him and we told him to come in front. Who is he? We were scared from inside. Then we realized that there was a person behind a tree who was wearing a shirt and salwar, and he was in a very strange condition. At that time it came to our mind that don't know if it is a person or some other creature. We said, "Who are you?" Then he started speaking in the same strange voice. Maybe he was trying to say something to us. There was darkness on his face. We could feel only his structure as if it was a human being. But what was he trying to say, or in which language he was speaking? We were not able to understand. We gathered courage and looked at his face. We shone the light on his face and moved a little closer. We asked him, "Who are you?" But when we shone the light on his face, he was a human being, but he was talking like a stammerer. He explained to us through his body language and his way of talking that I am from this place. My house is on the top of the mountain. If you people need help, I am ready to help you. We told him that our car had a problem and that is why we are stuck here. The person we were scared of was probably God who had sent us there as an angel. We got the car checked by him. He then explained to us in the same way which we were having a lot of problems in understanding. He said that you come to my house now, spend the night here, lock the car here. In the morning, we will call a mechanic somehow and get your car fixed. This is the only thing I can help you with. Anyway, we friends discussed among ourselves that what should we do now? We did not have any other option. Then it was finalized that we should go to his house, and we spend the night there. According to him, the population is very far from here. We will have to climb the mountain and come down on the other side. Distance-wise, the population is very close, but we will have to go through the mountain if we want a shortcut. But that was going to take us a lot of time. Baralji, we decided that we will spend the night on this side. Then we told him, okay, we will stay for the night on your side. That person started walking ahead. We followed him. He was a local of that place, so he was not finding it difficult to walk on the mountain. We were finding it very difficult to follow him. Now we were very tired. We had almost reached the top of the mountain while following him. There we saw a very old house made of stones. That person opened it and told us to come inside. That person went inside, and there was a room under which some water was spread. We found it very strange. We had never had such an experience in our life. Anyway, we were helpless in such a house. We had to spend the night somehow. That person told us to rest here. We will do something as soon as the morning comes. Anyway, we kept our bags, etc. We had brought some essential items from the car. We had locked the car there. Now there was no arrangement of light there. When we noticed, there was only one light. The cot was lying in that room, and now hold your heart and listen to what was on that cot. Someone was sleeping on that cot, and that cot was also a little too long, and a sheet was placed on that person. Whoever was sleeping there, that person entered the room, said goodbye to us, and went somewhere. Now we were talking in the dark. We realized the person who was lying on the cot when he started coughing. His cough was so creepy that we were scared to death. In his presence, we talked about so many things about that person who had brought us here. Did he seem like a jinn or some other creature? And even now, some of my friends are saying the same thing, that we still don't feel right about this person. There may be some other matter with us. It is not necessary that it may be a jinn's case. Maybe there may be some kidnapping scene or something negative. The mind was thinking 10 things. Anyway, people were scared, but that person was not moving. We were very tired and were scared. Anyway, we were surprised to see his height in the cot. We also felt that maybe the cot was big and there were many beddings on it, and this person was of normal height. But we were not discussing this among ourselves. We were just thinking about whatever thoughts were coming to our mind. Anyway, we somehow got together in that room and lay down inside each other. The night was getting very dark. The door of that room was made of wood. At one point in the night, we started feeling as if someone was walking around that room. It was the same situation as with Mushu, that even if any sound was produced far away, we could hear it. But this sound of someone walking was so clear that, what can I tell you, someone was continuously moving around the room. We reacted in such a way that we fell asleep. We kept our eyes closed. 3 of us were asleep by now. The remaining 2 friends included me and my one more friend who were also awake. And then something happened that person started coughing and making strange sounds of snoring and breathing. This sound was making us very scared. We just lay down in fear and closed our eyes. Kept praying to God that the night should pass somehow. But it was also necessary for us to sleep. If we could not sleep now, then we had a lot of work to do in the morning. We had to get that car repaired. Anyway, we were about to fall asleep. We were still in light sleep. And now what I'm going to tell, If any children are listening or people with weak heart can skip the story or forward it because this scene was very, very scary. We were lying on the floor in the corner of that room that cot was lying. That person was lying on that bed. When he got up from the cot and sat up, his height was as big as a normal person standing, and when he stood up, his height was so much that his head was touching the ceiling. That person stood up and passed one leg over us. He stepped towards the other side, and we saw him clearly here. We were fully conscious. I admit we were in light sleep, but we were seeing this scene. Our breathing up and down, and after that, he opened the door and bent completely and went out of that door. Leaving the door open, he started descending from that mountain. Now we were lying inside. We could see the scene outside in the moonlight. That person was descending from the mountain, taking such long steps that it seemed as if he had gone so far in just 4 or 5 steps. We could not see the Wazia, but his existence was very clear to us in that moonlight. As soon as that person disappeared from our sight, what happened was that I woke up all my friends. The one who was awake with me also panicked. We quickly told everyone about the scene, and everyone locked the room from inside, closed the door, and locked it. We were very scared. Our heartbeat had also increased. We could not scream because we would have started getting scared of our own screams. The situation was such. What should I tell you? Anyway, it was clear that this place is not good here. Paranormal activities are happening. We started reading Ayatul Kursi in our hearts, held each other tightly, and sat down with each other, thinking about how to spend the night. Then we thought of going and seeing where the person who had brought us here was. We kept sitting like this for about half an hour in silence and kept listening to the silence. Suddenly, we heard a sound on the main door of the room as if someone was trying to open the door. But we got scared and started screaming. Then we heard a sound from the roof as if someone had jumped on the roof, and then another thump. A voice came as if there was someone on the roof. We were screaming below in such a way that our voices could not be heard. One of our friends was also crying. We were so scared. Then we were worried about who was on the roof because the sound of footsteps was coming from above continuously, and those footsteps were such that one footstep was on one corner of the roof and the other on the other corner. Then we gathered courage and thought that instead of crying again and again, it is better to muster courage once. We decided that we should come out together and see who was on the roof. We took very slow steps and opened the main door. First, we opened it a little and looked outside. There was no one outside. We came out and then started looking for a way to go to the roof. But we could not find a way to go to that roof. There was a mountain ravine on the other side, so we could not go to that side. Anyway, it was a house made of stones. So the situation was such that we two friends started climbing towards the roof by keeping our feet on the stones. We decided we did it in such a way that we would peek out just enough to see the upper part of the roof. Our friends supported us and we started climbing the roof. As soon as we could see the view from the wall, the ground slipped from under us. We saw that the same tall person was sitting on the roof in a way as if you were sitting on the weight of your legs. He was looking at the gap on the other side of the roof. He did not notice us. He was the same tall person. Maybe he had come back. He tried to open the door, but after that, he came and sat on the roof. I screamed. Now everyone panicked because of my scream. I fell on the ground with a thud, and in that silence, there was a commotion. Quickly, all of us friends ran to that room and locked it from inside. I don't think that it would be difficult for whatever creature was there to break or open that door. Anyway, there was a commotion on the roof too. Sounds started coming as if the person who was sitting there had come to know that someone had seen me. Now, after some time, that person came to the main door. He tried to open the door, and after that, there was silence, and then a voice came. "Whoever you are our guests. You need not be afraid. No one will say anything to you here. Now rest here till morning. You all can leave as soon as it is morning. I am leaving now. You people are probably scared of me." After saying this, we realized that the person started going from there, and he was taking long steps. After a while, there was silence, but the feeling of the scene we had seen, had taken over our hearts. We remained scared like this the whole night, although it was true that till morning there was no activity with us. As soon as morning came, our door rang. We were not opening the door. We went close to the door and asked who it was, and then the same stammering voice. The same person who we had brought here last night, his voice came. It was I who was coming. When we opened the door, he had brought a child with him, and both of them had a lot of homemade breakfast in their hands. Our hunger had vanished, but he said that you all should freshen up. I have brought breakfast for you all. Anyway, we were very nervous. He guessed from our faces that these people were scared. He said, I forgot to tell you all that this house of mine is closed for a long time. This is my guest house, but it has been a long time since anyone has come and stayed here. These mountains are inhabited by God's other creatures too. They have some effects here, but they do not harm us. We have felt their presence many times, but whenever they come in our way or in our work, the Ladakh people should move away from here. We have to do this work, or we have to leave from here, or we have to stay here. I forgot to tell you people that you should have called out as soon as you reached here. If someone is present here, he should leave here. We have to spend the night here. Anyway, after listening to him, we told him the whole thing. He was behaving absolutely normally as if it was nothing new for him. After that, we completed the next target of our car. That person made one of our friends sit on his relative's bike and asked him to go and bring the mechanic. Then one of my friends went with him and brought the mechanic from there. In the meantime, the place where the car was parked was also very far away. After getting down, we reached our car. Our car was absolutely safe. The sound was stopped. Anyway, in the meantime, he brought the mechanic on the bike through the road. The mechanic said that its gas kit was burnt. Anyway, it was evening. By the time our car was repaired, all the budget we had was spent on the car, and neither did we have the courage to go out and roam around. After that, we used to make a habit of not traveling at night. We would somehow leave in the morning and reach Islamabad before evening. But we never left that adventure and roamed around because it was our passion, and with time we forgot that fear. But this thing still remains in our mind. What was that thing? Did we really see the Jinnit? Anyway, this was my story. If you like it, please share it on your channel. Thank you very much for sharing your story with us. Assalamu alaikum Adnan. My name is Zara and I am from India. I want to share one of my stories with you, which is from the year 2016. There is a place in India called Jaisalmer, but there is a desert and we were going on a family tour. Story, my husband, my brother-in-law, and their children were traveling by train, and it was a long journey. We enjoyed the journey a lot. The hotel we stayed in was very well maintained. It was beautiful to look at, but the rooms looked very strange from the inside. There was a strange feeling of terror in these rooms. I also mentioned to my brother-in-law and sister-in-law that I was feeling something strange here. They said that it must be your illusion. Then as soon as we had dinner and after eating, we went to our rooms to rest. After a while, it felt as if someone was walking in the corridor. I thought it must be some hotel staff and I ignored this thing. Then the washroom light went off, which I had switched on, and it felt to me as if someone was walking barefoot in the corridor. Anyway, the night passed. I did not mention this to my husband, as he does not believe in these things. And then we left for the Dazzle party the next day. We had a Jeep. We enjoyed ourselves a lot there. It is a very big desert. The sun was very strong that day. I saw a woman standing far away. She had a pot with water in it, and she was giving water to everyone. So I told everyone not to drink water from it. We will get a water bottle from somewhere else, and we will take it. There was no restaurant nearby. Then our Jeep also broke down, which we had taken from a travel agent. He said that he was going to call the mechanic. You guys wait. We waited for a long time. The children started feeling very thirsty, and that woman was standing far away under a tree with a pot of water. I felt as if she was waiting for us. That woman was looking at us in a strange way. I started getting nervous. I told everyone to leave from there, and we started walking ahead from there. After going a little further, we saw a restaurant. So we quickly went to this restaurant and drank water, and after a while, the driver also came with the vehicle. We rested there for a while and then moved ahead to enjoy ourselves. Then when it was evening time, I told everyone that let's go back to the hotel lest the vehicle broke down again and it became a problem for us. Everyone said no, we would go in the evening after watching the sunset. In this process, my brother-in-law and his children went on a different route. I and my husband were on a different route. I did not have children at that time. We were a newly married couple. I and my husband had gone ahead a lot. Then we saw the dead body of a woman there. I told my husband not to go near it. When we went a little closer and looked, it was the same woman with the pot who was giving water to everyone, and she was lying there. and it seemed as if her dead body had been lying there for a long time. Seeing that, we were very shocked. We got scared and immediately left from there, and when we returned to our place, there was no one near the Jeep. The children had all gone out for a stroll. We again saw the same woman standing near the Jeep. I started reading Ayatul Kursi loudly. It was sunset at this time, and her shadow was visible on the sand. She was very long, and her face was very scary. We sat there on the sand. After some time, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law also came. They asked, "Why are you people sitting here in the heat? What has happened?" We said nothing happened and let's go back to the hotel. When we reached the hotel, we took showers, freshened up, ate food, and got ready to sleep. Then I felt as if someone was taking a bath in the washroom, but I ignored this and did not mention it to my husband. All this kept happening the whole night. There was a mirror in front of me. Again, I saw the shadow of this woman, so I closed my eyes and started reciting Ayatul Kursi loudly. And then at around 9:30 in the night, there was a knock on our door. I had not slept, thinking that I would sleep after offering Fajr namaz. So I thought that my sister-in-law was knocking. Maybe there was some emergency. I called her and the bell was ringing, but she did not receive the call because she was sleeping at that time. If she had been awake, she would have definitely received the call. So I thought that this was something else, and after a while I started hearing the sound of a small child crying. After a while, my sister-in-law came running and she played the door, music, and said, "Open the door." I heard her frightened voice and opened the door and said what happened. I asked her if she had come here before, and she said no. I had not come before, I had just come. So she said, I told him that there was a knock on my door, and when I opened the door, a small child was lying near the door. It was a newborn baby. I thought that I didn't know whose child it was. I called the hotel owner. He said that I was out of the hotel and it would take me some time to come because he had gone to sleep in his quarters. My sister-in-law tells me that this child's feet were turned upside down and his face was completely black. His hands were also strange, so my sister-in-law suddenly screamed. Then he started laughing very loudly in a masculine voice. Laughs. So I closed the door. After a while, I opened the door and saw that he had disappeared from there. So that's why I came running to you to get out of this hotel, and then we left the hotel after offering Fajr namaz in the morning. And along with this, there was a Daba-type hotel. We went and sat there. Then we called the hotel owner and said that whatever dues you have, you take it from us. So we told the travel agency person to take us to some other hotel, but my sister-in-law said that it is better that we go back. When we were leaving from there, I looked towards my room. I saw the same woman there. We had the next day's train ticket and we had to leave from there. By any means that day, we could not go back to this hotel, whereas there was no time in other hotels because it was the season. Well, we talked to the same hotel owner that he can arrange a room for us in some other hotel. So he arranged a hotel for us nearby. We got 2 rooms in it, but we adjusted in it. So we canceled the plan of going out. But the kids were insisting that they want to go out. So we said, where will you go for going out? Because there was desert all around. Then we decided to go out in the evening because there was a lot of sunshine during the day. Then at 4:05 p.m., we again left for going out in the Jeep of the same travel agent. We saw a well there. We said, what kind of well is this? And when we went closer, we saw that 2-3 people were sitting there. They looked like village-type people and were staring at us with very strange eyes. So I asked my sister-in-law, what is the matter? Why are these people staring at us? She said, don't know. And then we went back to the Jeep. We turned towards the forest, and when we looked back, there was no one there. It is said that such things inhabit the wilderness, and it is better that people do not go into the wilderness. And then we went to another point from there. When we were going, I felt as if someone had hit my tongue very hard from behind. When he hit me, I thought that maybe the children sitting behind me were playing a prank, but I ignored this thing. After a while, the driver said that the tongue had become very hot. You people will have to get down. I will make arrangements for water. God knows better whether the problem was with us or the tongue, so we had to get down from the tongue again. Thank God that this time we had water, etc. with us. So he filled the Jeep with water, etc., and we moved ahead. After going a little further, we met a girl. She said that you people should drop me off at the hotel. She gave the address of the hotel in which we had stayed earlier. She said that my relatives have gone ahead of me, and I have been left behind and I have lost my way. So I said that it was okay and made her sit. So they made her sit in the Jeep and she sat quietly and then she started shaking her head. She started reading something. I asked my husband what was happening. In the meantime, we reached the hotel and the driver said to her, "Madam, the hotel is here. It has come. You can get down there," and come and stood near a tree. She did not go inside the hotel, but then we went to our hotel. Then we saw the same girl sitting in the reception area. So we said that we have left her behind. From where did she come here? So we also got very scared and we said that it is better to stay in this hotel. There was no receptionist there, so we quickly went to our rooms, packed the luggage, etc., and said that it is better to spend the night at the railway station. And then we went to the railway station and then sang, "God, the train came at 7 o'clock in the morning and we left for home." So this was my story. If you like it, then upload it on your channel. Let's move on to another story. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Basit Manan and I live in Karachi. I am your daily listener. I listen to your stories every day. I want to share one of my stories with you. This story is of December, me in 2023. Two of my cousins and three of us went on a Pakistan tour. Our tour was of 5 days. One day we stayed in Balakot. The second day we stayed in Nalta. On the third day, we were in Hunza. So this story happened to us in Hunza, Ganesh. So this happened to us that day. We had traveled a lot. There were points in between. We took pictures there. It was 9 o'clock when we reached Hunza. Now when we reached Hunza, we booked a room in a hotel. The hotel was quite good. There were 3 beds in our room. There was a bed near the window. There was a bed in the middle, and the third bed was on the left corner. So we decided that my eldest cousin would sleep on the bed on the window side, and our third cousin would sleep on the bed on my right. Now what happened was that my younger cousin slept. The eldest cousin had taken 2 speakers with him. He had played a song in it and was also uploading his pictures on Instagram. The time was 4 o'clock in the night. Now what happened? He saw it as if someone had come out of the window and went towards the washroom. He thought it was his illusion, but then he saw a shadow passing in front of him. Everyone was shocked. As you know, there is less light in the northern areas. So at that time, there was no light. The generator was running. As soon as he saw the shadow, the generator stopped and the room was completely dark. There was no limit to it, and his mobile was also less than 10 volts charged. He could not even turn on the flashlight. He got very scared. He immediately read Ayatul Kursi and with courage came to my bed and tried to wake me up. I was in a very deep sleep. I could not get up so quickly. Then when I opened my eyes a little, he was crying and he put his finger on my mouth and signaled me to shut up. And my mobile was charging in front of me. Now I also got up. He came to my bed. We both were face down in the blanket and we started listening to the sound. As you know, the beds are covered with covers, and when someone sits on it, a sound comes. The same sound comes as if someone is sitting on my elder cousin's bed. We both got very scared. Then we both gathered a lot of courage and went to the third cousin's bed and woke him up. Then we picked up the mobile, turned on the torch, and slept with our faces inside. Then believe me, when we woke up in the morning, we found the speaker that we had taken completely broken, as if someone had broken it. It was broken like this. Then we told our tour guide, and he said that it was the time of Fajr and Tahajjud, and there were good and noble jinns on the mountains, and you people had played songs, so they made you feel their presence. It was only Adnambai. If you like my story, then share it with your viewers. So friends, I hope you liked today's stories. If you like the stories, then don't forget to like the video, and if you are new to my channel, then subscribe to the channel by pressing the bell icon. Turn on notifications for all. This will make you a part of my horror stories family. Take care of yourself and remember me in your prayers. Give me your permission. I get permission for another interesting story. Goodbye.